Title: The Hidden Power of Ordinary Routines. For most people, daily routines seem unremarkable. Waking up, brushing your teeth, commuting to work or school, checking messages, and completing countless small tasks often feel repetitive and even boring. Because these activities do not appear dramatic or meaningful on the surface, they are actually overlooked when people think about what shapes their life. Instead, individuals tend to focus on extraordinary events such as promotions, travels, crises, celebrations, or major turning points. Yet psychologists, sociologists, and behavioral economists increasingly argue that ordinary routines have a far greater impact on long-term well-being and success than rare dramatic moments do. This claim might feel counterintuitive at first. After all, major events are what we remember, talk about, and emotionally react to. However, when researchers examined how people actually spend their time across months and years, they discovered that extraordinary events count for only a tiny portion of a human experience. Most people spend the majority of their lives repeating similar patterns day after day. Because of this, routines operate like invisible forces that slowly but steadily guide the direction of one's life. They influence physical health, emotional resilience, cognitive performance, financial stability, and even relationships. Small actions, repeated constantly, gradually accumulated into significant outcomes. An interesting example comes from the field of behavioral science. Studies show that people do not form habits by making a single strong decision. Instead, habits emerge through regular exposure to cues and context. If someone places their running shoes near the door every evening, they are more likely to exercise the next morning. If a person keeps their smartphone on the desk, they are more likely to pick it up frequently, even without conscious intention. Over time, these repeated behaviors strengthen neural pathways, making the actions feel automatic. This automaticity frees the brain from constant decision making and allows it to conserve mental energy for more complex tasks. Routine, in this sense, becomes a form of cognitive efficiency. But routines also have a deeper psychological value. Human beings tend to crave stability because the world is inherently unpredictable. Unexpected events, both positive and negative, can disrupt emotional balance. Routines provide a sense of continuity and predictability, giving people something stable to rely on. Even simple rituals like brewing a cup of coffee even every morning or reading for 10 minutes before bed can ground individuals, helping them feel anchored amid uncertainty. During periods of crisis or rapid change, maintaining familiar routines often becomes essential for mental health. Another fascinating insight comes from social psychology. People often assume that motivation precedes action, that they need to feel inspired or energized before they can begin working toward a goal. However, research suggests the opposite is often true. Action creates motivation. Completing small routine-based tasks such as writing for 5 minutes, cleaning one section of a room, or reviewing vocabulary briefly each day can generate a sense of progress. This progress produces dopamine, which increases motivation and makes it easier to continue the behavior. In other words, Routines can transform a difficult challenge into a manageable process by breaking it into predictable, bite-sized actions. Routines also influence emotional well-being through the concept of micro moments. These are brief, often unnoticed interactions or experiences that occur throughout the day. Smiling at a stranger, enjoying the sunlight while working, or having a short conversation with a friend. Although each moment seems insignificant individually, the cumulative effect can be powerful. People who cultivate routines that include positive micro moments tend to report higher life satisfaction than those who rely on occasional dramatic pleasures such as vacations or celebrations. This suggests that consistent small joys often outweigh rare intense happiness. Interestingly, many highly successful individuals attribute their achievements not to bursts of inspiration but to carefully designed routines. Writers often wake up at the same time each day and dedicate a set number of hours to writing. Athletes follow strict training schedules that include rest, nutrition, and visualization practices. Scientists maintain consistent research habits, reviewing data or writing notes daily. These people understand that creativity and excellence emerge not only from talent but from disciplined repetition. Their routines protect them from procrastination, emotional fluctuations, or external distractions. However, routines are not inherently beneficial. Some routines, such as excessive phone use, late night snacking, or negative self talk, can be harmful when repeated consistently. This highlights an important principle. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If your daily systems push you toward unhealthy or unproductive patterns, long term consequences will inevitably follow. Because routines shape outcomes so powerfully, being deliberate about them becomes essential. Experts recommend a process called habit auditing, where individuals take time to observe their regular behaviors and categorize them into three groups: helpful, neutral, and harmful. Helpful routines support long term goals, for example, reviewing financial expenses weekly or exercising regularly. Neutral routines do not bring significant benefits or risks, but they still consume time and energy. Harmful routines actively interfere with well-being. Conducting of habit audits allows people to redesign their environment or adjust their schedules to strengthen helpful routines while reducing harmful ones. One popular strategy for reshaping routines is called environmental design. Instead of relying on willpower, people modify their surroundings to encourage their desired behaviors. If you want to read more, keep books in visible places. If you want to snack less, avoid storing unhealthy foods at eye level. If you want to study consistently, create a dedicated workplace free from direct distractions. Environment in this view is not passive. It actively shapes behavior. By adjusting small aspects of your surroundings, you send powerful cues that nudge you toward actions aligned with your goals. Culturally, routines have often been misunderstood. Some assume that the routine life is rigid or unimaginative, while spontaneity is considered exciting and desirable. But this perspective overlooks the fact that routines can actually support creativity. When basic activities become automatic, people free up cognitive resources to explore new ideas. Some of history's most innovative thinkers intentionally relied on repetitive routines to minimize unnecessary decisions. Albert Einstein famously wore similar outfits every day to avoid wasting mental energy on trivial choices. Many artists follow strict daily routines schedules to prevent creative burnout. Rather than limiting imagination, routines can protect and enhance it. Moreover, routines help people adapt to the complexity of modern life. With endless information, constant notifications, and increasing expectations in both personal and professional domains, individuals often experience decision fatigue. When too many choices must be made throughout the day, what to eat, when to work, how to relax, what to prioritize, mental exhaustion quickly sets in. Routines reduce this burden by turning frequent decisions into predictable patterns, allowing individuals to focus their mental energy where it matters most. Despite their benefits, routines must maintain flexible to be sustainable. Life changes, new jobs, new relationships, health challenges, or unexpected events require adjustment. Rigid routines that cannot adapt may become sources of stress rather than support. The healthiest approach is to design routines that provide structure while leaving room for adaptation. This dynamic balance helps individuals maintain their routines over years rather than weeks. Finally, the hidden power of routines reveals an important truth about human nature. Meaningful change does not occur through sudden inspiration, but through gradual, consistent effort. People tend to overestimate what they can accomplish in a short burst of motivation and underestimate what they can achieve through steady routines maintained over time. Whether the goal is improving health, mastering a skill, building a career, or strengthening relationships, the real transformation lies in the small choices made every day. In a world that celebrates big event achievements, dramatic turning points, and extraordinary stories, the quiet force of routine may seem unremarkable. Yet it shapes who we become far more than we often recognize. By paying attention to the ordinary patterns of our days and deliberately shaping them, we gain the ability to steer our lives with clarity and purpose. Ordinary routines, it turns out, are not ordinary at all. They are the architecture of a meaningful life. Title: The Future of Work in an Age of Intelligent Machines. For generations, work has shaped human identity. People have defined themselves by their occupations: teacher, engineer, artist, scientist, and society has been organized around the idea that individuals contribute labor in exchange for income, stability, and a sense of purpose. However, the rapid development of artificial intelligence and automation is challenging these long standing assumptions. As the intelligence machines become more capable, questions arise about what work will look like in the future, how societies should adapt, and what roles humans will play in a world where machines increasingly perform tasks once considered uniquely human. Many analysts compare the current technological shift to the Industrial Revolution. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the invention of steam engines and mechanized tools dramatically changed agriculture, manufacturing, and transportation. Those advancements replaced many manual jobs but also created entirely new industries and occupations. Optimists argue that the same pattern will occur today. AI may automate certain tasks, but it will also generate new opportunities in emerging sections such as robotics, digital healthcare, climate technology, and data science. According to this view, technological disruption is not a threat but a catalyst for human progress. Yet the transformation triggered by AI differs in important ways from previous transitions. In the past, machines replaced physical labor. Today, AI can replicate cognitive tasks. Machine can analyze data faster than any human, translate languages instantly, compose music, diagnose illness, illnesses, write computer code, and even hold conversations. This ability to perform knowledge-based tasks raises deep concern about job displacement. Unlike earlier technologies which required human supervision or manual operation, advanced AI systems can function autonomously. This autonomy has the potential to reshape not just specific industries but the entire structure of the labor market. Economists often divide tasks into three categories: routine manual tasks, routine cognitive tasks, and non-routine tasks. AI is particularly effective at handling routine cognitive tasks such as processing information, completing calculation, or analyzing patterns. Jobs in accounting, administrative support, customer service, and logistics are already feeling the impact. Even highly trained professionals such as lawyers, financial analysts, and medical researchers are discovering that AI can perform parts of their work more quickly and accurately. However, this does not mean all jobs in these sectors will disappear. Instead, the nature of work is changing. Rather than replacing workers completely, AI tends to transform roles by automating repetitive components, allowing humans to focus on tasks that require judgment, emotional intelligence, or creative problem solving. In medicine, for example, AI can review medical images at extraordinary speed, but doctors still interpret results, communicate with patients, and make complex ethical decisions. In education, AI can personalize learning materials, but teachers remain essential mentors who understand student emotions and motivations. This dynamic is often described as augmentation rather than replacement. Still, some roles will be more vulnerable than others. History offers many examples of technologies that permanently eliminated certain occupations. Elevator operators, telephone switchboard workers, and typists all faded as new devices became self-operating. Some experts argue that we should expect similar patterns today. Certain jobs may decline sharply as AI becomes routine. The challenge is to anticipate these shifts and prepare workers for new roles through retraining and education. Governments and corporations increasingly discuss lifelong learning, as a necessity rather than a luxury. One of the most debated questions centers on what new skills of jobs will emerge. Even major technological shift in history has been accomplished by a creation of entirely new fields, jobs that were unimaginable before new tools existed. In the AI era, emerging roles may include AI ethics consultants, human-machine interaction designers, data integrity auditors, digital well-being counselors, and specialists who ensure that AI systems operate fairly and securely. There will also be growth in trades that rely on uniquely human skills. Therapists, educators, social workers, designers, and crafts people may become more valuable precisely because machines cannot easily replicate empathy, authenticity or human connection. Another important issue is inequality. Technological change does not affect everyone equally. High-skilled workers often benefit most because they can leverage technology to increase productivity and income. Those with fewer education opportunities face greater risks of job displacement. Without thoughtful policy interventions, AI may widen economic divides, concentrating wealth among those who own or design intelligent systems. Many experts advocate for systems of social support such as retraining programs, wage insurance, portable benefits, or even universal basic income. These ideas remain controversial, but they highlight the need for societies to rethink how economic value is distributed. The psychological impact of the future of work also deserves attention. For example, for centuries, people have linked their sense of purpose to their jobs. In societies where work is a primary source of identity, losing a job or seeing one's profession become obsolete can cause anxiety, shame, or confusion. As machines take over more tasks, individuals may need to find new sources of meaning. Some optimists believe that reduced working hours could give people more time for family, creativity, learning, and community involvement. Critics worry that people who lose jobs may struggle to adapt, particularly if cultural attitudes continue to equate self-worth with employment. Human-AI collaboration brings another layer of complexity. Many workplaces now expect employees to work alongside AI tools that make predictions, draft reports, or provide recommendations. While these tools can enhance efficiency, they also create new responsibilities. Workers must learn to interpret AI-generated output, recognize its limitation, and apply human judgment appropriately. This blended model of work, half human, half machine, requires a new set of skills. Critical thinking, digital literacy, and ethical reasoning may become as important as technical expertise. There is also the question of trust. If AI systems make decisions that affect people's lives, whether approving loans, selecting job applicants, diagnosing disease, or determining insurance rates, the public must trust that these systems are fair and accurate. Yet AI models can inherit biases from the data on which they are trained. If historical data contains discrimination or inequality, AI may unintentionally replicate those patterns. Ensuring fairness requires transparency, oversight, and strong ethical frameworks. This is why many institutions are now investing in AI governance teams who monitor system behavior and ensure responsible use. Another emerging concern is digital burnout. As AI increases the pace of work and creates expectations of constant productivity, individuals may feel pressure to perform at machine-like speeds. Reports show that workers already experience information overload, accelerated deadlines, and increasing dependence on digital tools. Ironically, even though AI is designed to make work easier, it may also intensify workloads unless organizations redesign processes thoughtfully. Healthy adaptation requires balancing efficiency with human well-being. Amid the uncertainties, one message is clear. The future of work will not be defined solely by machines, but by the choices humans make. Societies must decide how to use technology, how to distribute its benefit, and how to support those who experience disruption. Education systems must evolve from emphasizing memorization to cultivating problem solving, communication adaptability, and emotional intelligence. Companies must invest in training workers rather than treating them as replaceable. Governments must develop policies that support innovation while protecting vulnerable groups. Most importantly, individuals must embrace continuous learning. The ability to adapt, acquire new skills, and remain flexible will be the key competitive advantage in a world where knowledge and technology evolve rapidly. While specific job titles may disappear, the fundamental human capacities for empathy, creativity, collaboration, and ethical judgment will remain indispensable. Ultimately, the conversation about the future of work, is not just about economics or technology. It is about humanity's vision for itself. Intelligence machines can perform calculations and optimize systems, but they cannot determine moral values, define social purpose, determine. But they cannot determine moral values, define social purpose, or decide what kind of a world we want to build. Those responsibilities belong to humans. If society used AI wisely, the future of work could offer greater freedom, more meaningful labor, and a more equitable distribution of opportunity. If not, inequalities may deepen, and many people may feel left behind. And transformation ahead will be challenging, but it also presents a rare opportunity. By reimagining the relationship between humans and machines, societies can design a future where technology enhances human potential rather than replacing it. The coming decades will test humanity's creativity and wisdom, but they also hold extraordinary promise. The coming decades will test humanity's creativity and wisdom, but they also hold extraordinary promise.